Jake, you get good.
Hey guys, and welcome to another AtomicCast. It's Tom here, and Bert. Bert, say hi.
Hi.
Yay, Bert. So it is coming up to the Masters. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but look at how pretty we look.
We are so worth it.
We found a filter on the thing. It's great. So it's the Masters in a couple of weekends time. So we are going to have a look. We've got the lists. We're going to have a look through, see what's going. This is obviously the super most competitive event in the GBHL history, or a fun mess around with your mates, depending on who you are. So yeah.
Hosted at Warhammer World for the first time.
Hosted at Warhammer World for the first time. The GBHL committee did a splendid job doing that. Good job, GBHL committee. And also just a little fun stuff. People are getting a free lunch as well.
Gamers love a free meal.
Free food, mate. Free food. Which we found out after I turned down my invitation, because I was looking at it and thinking the cost of everything was going to be an awful lot, so I didn't want to go. And then it turns out actually I would have had free accommodation because I grew up in Nottingham, free food, and just had to travel up there.
So giving other people a chance.
I'm letting other people have a chance. Yeah. Lee was also invited, but Lee is taking a little hiatus from the game, so he's not going. Basically, let's get rid of that pop up. Oh no, got too many. I've got so much malware on my computer. Anyway,
I was not invited, but we'll gun for next year.
You can do it, Bert. I believe in you. So this is a list of who is invited. So for anyone who's completely unaware, how it works is the GBHL is split up into several regions. See what we can have a quick look at it right now. The GBHL is split up into several regions. There's pop-ups everywhere. On the top person from each region gets invited, and the best newcomer gets invited. So currently, on here, if you go to the season summary, it will actually give you a little list of who is currently in the mix for Masters 2024. So you can see the top of the Southwest is Dewey Evans. I think it's actually the top 10, and then the regions. So Dewey, Patrick Divers in the Southeast, Bryce Johnson in the Central, Tom Armo in the North, Connacher in Scotland, and Josh Ballard is the best newcomer, which I believe is because John Partridge is, yeah, so it's the top 10 and then those. So you got Bert Leach, you're scraping in there.
Come on.
This is for so far for next year. So if you can sustain that for the entire year, good job, you're in. But people who managed it last year and are also available. So we've got Will Champion. He won the league last year. David Farmer came second. David Clubley came third. Jay Clare came fourth. Jake Rawson fifth. Michael Bradford sixth. We might not be in order anymore. Alistair King was up there. Paul Shizzle. This is just gonna be easier if I just put the rankings up, isn't it?
A little.
I was well prepared for this, as you can see. 2022, there we go. So Eden said no. Jamie in 9th, and Ed Ball in 10th. So that takes us down here. Then we have a few people who are kind of the best people from their region still. So Thomas Wagg in the North, Jake Banks in the Central, and Jay Acharya in the South. And then just a few other people as it went down the rankings, basically, as people said they couldn't come. So then you've got a few people like Ashley Walker and James Goebel and David Nixon who have all kind of said they can come, which is great. And it might have been slightly lower down on the list. So there's me at 22nd last year, and then Ashley Walker and James Goebel.
Goebel 25th, yeah.
Yeah. And Bert down at 31st. That's how close you were, if you're wondering. So yeah. That's what we got. So it's like the top 25-ish or so people, but they're all available. Masters format, everyone's split up into 4 pods. It's seeded based on how they ranked in the GBHL last year. So you'll have Will, Jake, Ed, and Sam in each pod, and then David, Michael, Wag, and Nixon, and so on and so forth. So luckily for the Golems gamers, they'll all be in different pods because they're all in that bottom bracket. So that's nice for them. And yeah, actually, no, not because bought Jayacharya somehow, didn't they? So
They have, yeah.
So yeah. Oh well. So yeah, that's how it's gonna work. Then you do the first day in your pods. The top two go into a knockout thing for the win, and the bottom two go into a knockout thing for ninth place. And you kind of play out the rest of the event. So they've all submitted their lists. Shall we crack on?
Let's do it.
So that's the wrong one. I'm so good at this. A seasoned professional YouTubes. I need to press the Masters list one.
And then we're going to try and guess whose is whose.
If you pre-throw it there, you could have probably seen some of my coursework from several years ago when I was at uni. So, quick summary first. So we've got 16 lists. 3 of them are Dragon Emperors. 2 of them are Assault on Loth. 2 of them are Mordor Harad combinations, which actually will be you did not invent. Angmar, Army of Thor and Iron Hills, Arnor, Black Riders, Felbeings of Mirkwood, Lothlorien, Rivendell and Numenor, Survivors of Lake Town, Erebor Reclaimed, and Wolves of Isengard. What there isn't there?
Bears.
Bears. No bears. Bears are trash.
Everyone is bored of bears.
Everyone knows that bears are trash. Boo, bears. So there's 8 legendary legions, so literally half the lists, which is going to be interesting if an event comes out that decides to not allow legendary legions at a GBHL 100, considering apparently half the best armies in the game are legendary legions. 5 green allies and 3 pure lists, and again 0 yellow alliances.
Army bonuses are good. Extra special rules are good.
And this is at 700 points, if I hadn't mentioned that. So yeah, 0 yellow alliances. Poland. On average, you've got 38.9 models per list. Again, at 700, just about on that kind of 700 divided by 20, but we talk about quite a lot.
Yep.
And might is just under 9. Will say that's heavily skewed by the Black Riders. Should have probably done a math about a minute, but yeah.
So it'd be very, very, very close to 1 might per 100 points average.
Yeah. Because the Black Riders is 3, 5, like loads.
Like 14 or something silly. Yeah.
Sweet. So let's just dive straight in here. We got Lothlorien. So we got Galadriel with the mirror of Galadriel. 3 Glafrin with shield, 5 Glafrin with spear and shield, 6 pajamas with bows, 1 sentinel and 3 pikes. Then you got Celeborn, heavy armor, sword and shield, 4 Glafrin with shield, 4 Glafrin with spear shield, 4 pajamas with bow, 1 Glafrin banner, 1 pike, and 1 knight with shield. So 700 models, 700 points, 35 models, and 10 bows. 11 sentinel.
Yeah, 11 bows with the sentinel.
Yeah,
it's lads. It's a tough battle line to get through. Five elven blades is. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of fight 6 floating around. So this will be winning fights against Eastlings and things. It's got a nice got a couple of cav, just the 1 cav.
Yeah, 1 cav.
One cav for some seeking objective grabbing, an unbelievably tough leader to wound. Because the mirror's back to starting fate. Yeah, that's a very, very, very tough leader to wound. Shooting her is completely pointless. And with blinding light up, 35 models is a really solid model count. And I believe the pilot of this one would be Mr. Rawson.
We are predicting this to be Jake Hare. I believe we're positioning to be
Jake. Actually, I played against I played against this list of Jays at finale. He's played it for well over a decade. He knows what he's doing with it. Yeah, dead solid. And that also Celeborn's might can be spent on heroic combats more often than you'd expect, given how reactive the list is. So it's packing a lot of punch.
Arnor. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
Because you don't often see Arnor above like 500-600 points, mainly because of how pricey it is. But let's have a look. So we've got Arviduvi. We've got a banner warrior. We've got 14 warriors with spear and shield. You've got Malbeth. You've got 6 warriors with spear and shield and 5 rangers with spear. You got a captain of Arnor with shield, 5 warriors with spear shield, 5 rangers with spear, and a captain of Arnor with shield, 6 warriors with spear shield, 4 rangers, 2 of which are spears, and an archer with a warhorn from Hobbit Land. So you've got 51 models, 16 bows, 8 might, 700 points. For anyone who doesn't know about Arnor, just quickly, what this is a load of Fight 4, a load of D6, Arvidui, who's a fairly solid lead, like hero in combat. He's nothing spectacular, but he's solid.
Three attacks.
Yeah, he's a solid leader. He's nothing spectacular, but he'll get the job done. And Malbeth, who has because everything within 6 inches of 5-up, like ward save. So it's 51 models, of which you are getting an extra like 1/3 of them in theory. So roughly 15, 16 extra wounds need to be inflicted.
Yeah,
so it's something close to 70 odd wounds you're looking at.
Yeah, it's huge. They're quite cheap troops. Given that they're D6 with a spear as well. Does every single warrior have a spear except the warhorn?
There's 2 rangers without spear and 1 archer without spear. 1 hobbit archer without spear. Every other warrior has a spear. Oh, and a banner doesn't.
So it's buckets of dice in every fight. Out of Fight 4, it's a D6 line. There's not that much strength 4.
There's no strength. Well, there's
no. In the list in general.
Okay,
there's a lot of like there's a lot of strength 3 troops. So a lot of D6 is just very, very hard to crack through without heroes.
People are leaning towards defense and fight value rather than strength at the moment. It always swings around, doesn't it? It goes in like circles.
Yeah,
it's quite cyclical, the meta.
And then, but they're usually quite cheap because of the courage. The troops are only courage 2, but with the warhorn they got the courage 3, and it's a 6-inch fearless bubble around Arvidui.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's mitigated those disadvantages a lot. It's a lot of lads that are very, very tough to shift.
Yeah.
You can, and then with the 2 marches for a scenario like even like divide and conquer, you can still, if you can get into the middle first with 50 models that don't die a third of the time, good luck.
They just a little side note for other people as well. So this is I'm aware that I'm bringing the non-tactical discussions to things today. I've decided the Masters being at Warhammer World means that 3D printed models are not allowed. So this person has to have an entire Arnor army of metal Arnor as well.
So they could have bought a house, but instead they decided to take 700 points of Arnor to Masters.
Yeah,
I respect that life choice.
That's why we think it's Jace Rawson.
Yeah.
So that's a bold life choice. But yeah,
no, I adore it, and I can see it being piloted really well. But
if you want a war of attrition, this will give you it. Essentially,
I think this is my rogue pick. I'd love to see this do well.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Mortal Harad number 1. So, Witch King of Angmar, Crown and Horse, 3, 12, 3. 7 Platinums, 7 Ran and Spit Shield, and 2 Trackers. Gorebag with Shield, 5 Platinums, 4 Morannons with Spear Shield, 2 Morannons with Spear, 1 Orc Tracker. Cardouche, 6 Orc Trackers. Celadan on Horse, 2 Raiders with War Spear and Bow, and 2 Serpent Riders. For 700 points, 43 models, 11 bows, 10 might. A total of 12 Black Lothloriens in your front line. And 13 Rannons.
Yeah.
Plus 4 Cav plus Celadan. And 9 trackers. So you've got, surprising amount of decent bowfire.
Loads of bowfire, 2 casters, more like getting 43 models and then having 4 cav even aside from the heroes. Those Serpent Riders in banner range, 3 dice on the charge at Fight 4 is really, really, really good. And they are going to eat their way through D6. Fight 3 D6 troops are going to get murked by the Serpent Riders.
They'll be rerolling ones as well.
Yeah. There's not an overwhelming amount of courage buffs in the matter either. So having the Harbinger and the Black Lothlorien front line, it's really, really, really tough. And then again, strength 3 against the D6.
Black Lothloriens with a Ring Wraith is always good. Just always good.
It's one of those things like everyone says it's just good, and then you play against it 4 or 5 times, and you go, "Oh, this really, really is quite good and tough to get through."
It's just good.
You end up almost needing to tech in like really tough 3 attack, high strength heroes.
It's the kind of it's very much the list that I kind of will throw a Goblin King in, and if he makes the first charge, he's popping her at combats and stuff, trying to get through into kill as many of these Black Northerners as he possibly can. Turn one, just try and smash through stuff.
Heroes spaffing might just to get kills.
Yeah,
matters against this list.
You need a line breaker.
Yeah, and if that costs you resources to get through it, then suddenly that 10 might.
You're going to be churning through will like a nobody business as well, because the heroes cannot spend will to try and pass their courage tests, because if they do, you've got the Witch King and you've got Cardouche throwing fireballs, throwing like cheap transfixers. Like, you're just gonna have a lovely time. There's a bucket of might in there actually with Gorbag and Suladan. And Suladan being loose as a hitter is really good. People always forget because he lives in that support role quite a lot.
It's that wonderful ability for Suladan to kind of suddenly hit the end game and somehow still have his horse and still have 2 or 3 points of might and still be a banner for himself.
Yeah.
And although he's only 5/5, he's really tough to deal with in that kind of situation.
Well, he's got 5 dice on the charge essentially. Yeah. If you want something to kill Black Lothlorien,
yeah.
Because he's got his base 3 +1 for charging and +1 for battling essentially. So he's got 5 dice to try and win them to roll that 6 into troops. Then he's strength 4 with a knockdown with re-rolling 1s because he's got a poison sword. He's having a great time. So this is one of the Mordor Harad lists,
and this is Ash Wilder's list.
Is it?
I am absolutely certain. This is identical to what he took to Intrigue. Preston, I think.
This looks like a farmer list to me. Mordor Harad's 2.
This looks like farmer to me.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay. So the only so this has got the Shadow Lord in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
spoilers.
Yes, this has got a Shadow Lord in it instead of the Gorbag and Cardouche. Yeah. Sweet. So that's basically the same. It's got a total of 12 Black Lothloriens. The other one had 12. Good. Yeah. 12 Rannons. The other one had 13 Rannons. 9 trackers. The other one had
8.
9 trackers. Yeah. And then 2 Harad Raiders. So it's got 2 Watchers of Kana instead of 2 Serpent Riders. And then you've got a Shadow Lord on horse instead of Gorbag and Cardouche. That's it. That's your difference. And the Witch King here has one
extra
point of will
for reasons. That's all right.
Yeah. So it turns out people have remembered that the Witch King and Suladan are good as a combination of things.
They are 2 really, really, really good things.
I find it really entertaining how, again, this is another one of those things where everyone's got distracted by like new shiny legendary legions things. I think this is a video I've got coming up. I think we've decided it's going to happen soon.
Okay.
Lists that people have forgot. Armies that people have forgotten exist that used to be really good, and then legendary legions started happening, and now everyone's like,
so this would be really good if there was an event happening which didn't allow legendary legions.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the list that I've got, anyway, sorry if we haven't talked about your list much, but it's the same as the last one, but with Watchers of Kana. Peace. Right,
here we go.
3 Dragon Emperors. Let's have a look. So we'll start with this one. Dragon Emperor, 15 Black Dragons, Pike Shield, 3 Cataphracts, one of which have got a drum. Borogir, 8 Eastlings of Shield, 2 Acolytes, 2 Eastlings of Bow. Captain, 7 Eastlings of Shield, 1 Acolyte, 4 Eastlings of Bow. 45 models, 6 bows. 698 points. That's 2 points that you could have spent changing your Acolytes to have axes. If you're Jamie Wiggins.
I prefer this to the Ratabi build.
Do you know what this is? This looks like David Clubley's list that came second at Masters last year.
Do you think it's David Clubley's list again?
I think it's the exact same list that came second at Masters last year. I might be wrong. I might be completely out of whack, but this looks to me like his list, what came second at Masters last year.
So I prefer this to the Ratabi list. One, because the strength of this list, in my understanding, is just how many tough lands it is, and how good they are at winning fights with many dice and a big banner. So if you have more of those tough lads who don't lose fights, and you also have more of those tough lads who don't move fights that can move across the table in 3.5 seconds, that's really, really, really tough to shift.
Second at Masters last year, Dragon Emperor, 14 Black Dragons Pike Shield.
Okay.
4 Cataphracts, 1 with the drum.
Ooh.
Borgia, 6 Eastlings of Shield, 5 Eastlings of Bow, and a Dragon Acolyte. A Captain, 6 Eastlings Shield, 5 Eastlings of Bow, and an Acolyte. So that one had 10 bows. This one's only got 6. That's basically the difference.
Okay.
So he's taken a Cataphract out as well.
So you've lent a little more into the D6?
Yeah.
But it's the same list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. So that's my theory. I reckon Matsudis is. I think that's what that one. So yeah, a few bows, a sprinkling of bows.
Enough to take out a key horse if needs be.
Yes. Enough to concern a Theoden or a Suladan. Then we've got Dragon Emperor 2, Electric Boogaloo. So this one's down to 36 models, so 9 models less than the other one straight away.
Yeah.
5 Black Dragons of Axe and Shield, 10 Black Dragons of Pike and Shield, 2 Black Dragons of Shield, a Cataphract with drum. Ratabi, 4 Acolytes with axes, 2 Warriors of Pike and Shield, 2 Warriors of Bow, and a Cataphract. The Black Dragon Cataphract, has he paid the points for that Cataphract?
I'm assuming he just had 2 points left over.
Yeah,
and,
2.
And again.
Broadgear, 2 Acolytes, 3 Warriors of Bow, and a Cataphract. Yeah, because they're 14 and 15. Yeah. He's paid the points for the Acolyte, for the Black Dragonness. So last year there was a Dragon Emperor list that came to the Masters that didn't come second. That one had 5 Black Dragons of Shield, 10 Black Dragons of Pike and Shield, 2 Black Dragon Cataphracts of drum, 5 Warriors of Shield, 5 Warriors of Pike and Shield, 2 Acolytes, 3 Acolytes of Bow, 2 Acolytes of Spear, but it didn't. So it was 38 models, but didn't have axes yet.
It's a substantially lower model count.
It's a substantially lower model count, but you get Ratabi instead.
Who is very, very good in one place.
Yes.
If she had access to a horse, it would change her a lot. But I personally, I think the ability to have 2 turns of moving your entire army 12 inches across the board with 9 more models at D6. So once they're in position, that's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But Jamie has a romantic attachment to Ratabi. So this is always going to happen.
There are some things we've seen privately that, also axes on everything because, strength 4, but also lose the one thing that makes these things good, which is like their high defensiveness. So,
if you don't lose fights, who cares?
Valid. And then this one, which is formatted slightly different, which has Ratabi and Broadgear as well, so 38 models as well. This is basically the list we've just seen.
Yeah.
There's no bows in this one. There are bows in the other one.
Was there bows in the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2, 5, 10. It's 10 bows total.
I think a sprinkling is always useful.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. I think 10 might be too many, but
5, 6 is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in theory, you're then if you wound something on like a horse is wounding on 5s, you're mathematically you should kill that horse.
Yeah. With a clean shot. Yeah. Which is all they're really there for. That's just holding a back objective or something. Yeah.
So this is basically the same thing. Dragon Emperor, 5 Black Dragons with Shields, 10 Black Dragons with Pike Shield, a Cataphract with Drum, 2 Cataphracts. Ratabi, 4 Eastlings with Shield, 5 Warriors with Pike Shield, Broadgear, 2 Warriors with Shield, 3 Warriors with Pike Shield, and 3 Acolytes. So yeah, it's basically the same as the other one. No bows, but they haven't paid the extra points for Black Dragon's Cataphract in other warbands. The Black Dragon Cataphract in other warbands is potentially useful if you get Maelstroms as well, just to have a little bit of fight for kicking around. Just to
ping off some heirlooms early.
Yeah.
With every warband. Yeah.
Yeah, and just try and kind of help in those fights if you do get stuck, because it's it's still a fight for cavalry model that you have to deal with. But yeah, they're so sick of this one. Needs to lose because it spelled Emperor wrong. So this one has to be the worst out of all the Dragon Emperors because they don't know how to spell your Lord and Savior, the Dragon Emperor. Yeah.
No, I think there'll be situations where you do miss having the bows.
So we're having a cheeky punt, but this one might be a Jake Banks.
Okay.
Just so we know, a little cheeky punt. Maybe a David Nixon. Who knows? Not entirely sure. But it's not. We think the first one was Clubly, the second one was Wiggins, and then this one, yeah. But yes.
Do you think this Legion will fade away next year?
I hope so. I'm so bored of it.
Speaking of being really bored of a certain list,
I'm bored of playing this already. I hate it. Assault on Loth, Druzag, a Bat Swarm, 3 Giant Spiders, 5 Prowlers, 5 Goblins with Bone Spear, 1 Goblin with Spear, mesbg, Orc with Banner, and a Warg. Shaman, 6 Prowlers, 6 Warriors with Bow Spear, Captain, 3 Prowlers, 4 Goblins Spearbow, 1 Goblin with Spear and Bat Swarm, and then Ashrak, 1 Giant Spider, which will be a Venom Bat, as will the other 3. 2 Goblin Warriors with Shield and 2 Goblin Warriors with Spear. So this is 48 models. It has 4, 9, 15 bows, 4 spiders, and 2 bats, and 1 warg.
14 prowlers.
Yeah.
I think this is a Michael Bradford list.
Okay.
And what I quite like about this is the relatively diminished like creatures.
Okay.
I genuinely think that this is all you need. I think just having the movement range of 2 bats and a spider is usually enough.
You had as 4 spiders, yeah. So that there's 155 points out of your 700 points you spent on beasts in this list. What's up here?
Okay.
Just before you go on that tangent, on that long thing of, I love that there's no spiders.
Okay.
Because there are lots of spiders.
Okay, the second thing I like about this list a lot is that we have not filled out mesbg's warband with orcs.
God, orcs.
They just die. The army's own special rules just shred them.
Yeah.
We had a game of Lords of Battle yesterday, and what was it? Like eight elves just killed 5 orcs in just 1 round of shooting.
Yeah.
When they're dying on 4s. So yeah, you do some warband slots, but I think just filling up on 5-point models rather than 6, 7 points.
Well, shall we compare this to the other Assault on Loth? So this one's got 48, this next one's got 45 models. Mm-hmm. Ooh, spicy. So Druzag, 6 Prowlers, 5 Goblins with Spear and Bow, 1 Goblin with Orc Bow, a Marauder, 2 Giant Spiders. Yes. Well, Shaman, 6 Prowlers, 5 Warriors with Spears and Bows, and 1 with Bow. mesbg, 5 Orcs with Spear Shield, 1 Orc with Banner Spear Shield, and 2 Warg Riders with Shield Throwing Spear, plus a Bat. And then a Wild Warg Chief with 4 Wild Wargs and a Bat. So in total, in your beast count in this one, you've got a Wild Warg Chief, you've got 4 Wild Wargs, and you've got 2 Bats and 2 Spiders. Plus a Marauder and 2 Warg Riders in one. Many beasts.
Many beasts. I can't work out whether the Wild Warg Chieftain being enraged and the heroic combat while being enraged is a funky gimmick, or whether it's actually really, really, really good.
Both. He is an absolute nuclear missile that you can throw around. Because it puts him up to fight 7, I believe.
Yes.
If you just a regular old one. So he can just decimate lines. And then heroic combat and bulk people by just kind of, if you don't strike, you're gonna die.
Yeah, but, any hero at all.
Because it puts him, is he strength 8 then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with 5 attacks. If you don't strike and I can get to you, you're gonna die.
I mean, that's something that like even like Dane or Thorin looks at and goes, "Oh bugger."
Yeah.
So the ability to get like a wild chief enraged and a bat into on something on a flank, and just know that any hero you've got lurking around the back or in the second rank is in real danger.
Both of these lists on the same. Yeah, both of these lists have got bow spears and prowlers. Like so, prowlers at the front, bow spears at the back. As well, which I haven't done, and I kind of feel like I would have wanted to do, but I was convinced out of putting spears on my bows.
Does it affect the model count that much?
Every 5 spears is a bloke. Well, so 6 spears is a bloke, I guess. So yeah, you lose like 2 dudes by doing it that way. But it means all these ones where you end up doing like a little shooty war. You've got the prowlers in the front, and things you'd have to put like your spearmen in the front and your bows behind to try and like keep them safe. I was going to do it, and then Lee told me not to, so I didn't. He said it was silly, but everyone else is doing it, and now I want to do it too, Daddy. So yeah, quite like that. This one's got more orcs. Ooh, bloody orcs.
I think that lower model count against a fair number of lists, that slightly lower model count, like those orcs can melt very quickly. And if all of a sudden this turns into a 38, 39, 40 model list, if you think that the actual Lothlorien list is 35 models,
well,
that suddenly is a comparable model count.
Wiggins is bringing something similar to this at one point, where he was messing around with his with a chiefy boy, and having a bit of fun. But yeah,
it's pricey.
Orcs of spear and shield is a I messed about with it once and I didn't really like it because they're still in D5. So anything with throwing spears and stuff just shreds it still.
Yeah.
And the Warg Riders as well. Like they seem like a fun idea. But again, someone just goes, that's like priority target number 1 right there. So
and yeah, they're being shot on like 4s.
Yeah. Right. Assault on Noths. Over it. Lake Town and Thorin, brackets, the wrong Lake Town. This is Survivors of Lake Town with Thorin, my boy. So this is Bard on Horse of Armor, 7 militia with shield, 5 militia with bow spear, 3 militia with shield spear, the children and Alfred, well, the 2 girls and Alfred. Lake Town militia captain, 6 militia with shield, 4 militia bow spear, 2 militia shield spear. Percy, who's the Bowie boy, 3 militia with shield, 4 militia with bow spear, and 4 militia with shield spear. And then Thorin on goat with Orcrist and a goat rider. So you got 46 models. You got 13 bows, including Bard's like 50 cal machine gun that he's got mounted on the back of his horse. Percy giving them reroll 1s to hit it.
This is your list.
It's not, because this is Survivors of Lake Town, brackets the wrong Lake Town. This is fight 3 Lake Town, not fight 4 Lake Town, you see.
But defense 5 for the armor that definitely exists.
Yes, they get some. I think they get to have shields, so you know that makes them defense 5. So yeah, what the reason why it's good is with green allies, right? So you got Bard who gives them a 12-inch banner in the middle there. Because if I'd like to run it as Army Lake Town if you haven't worked that out already. Then I only get a 6-inch banner because they're yellow. So you get a nice 12-inch banner off of Bard, but then like Bard is your banner, so he doesn't really want to be doing too much killing. You just kind of throw him into troops and hope for the best, right? And just he'll be with the kids nearby. He's fight 6, 3 hero combats. Thorin's fight 6, 3 hero combats. That small pip and fight buff. Oh yeah, fight 6 is massive. Suddenly means that he is. Like, I think it used to be because like fight 5 would like, get through troops quite reliably. Yeah. But now that you do need that fight 6 to just reliably get through things. Yeah. So that with Bard, with Alfred might buffs, this is a hero who can kill 4 Black Lothloriens in a turn. Yeah. And just not really break a sweat. Yeah, basically it's just loads of dudes. It'll die slowly, even slower than you think, because it's going to shield a lot. And it's got banners, so reliably like 3 dice in every fight, basically. Does the banner affect Thorin? No. Yeah. Thorin's on his own, but because he's green, gets Ubekar, so he can banner himself. Question mark.
That's big. Again, having a Thorin that doesn't need to be protected. Yeah, the ability to have in certain matchups, unless you have a way of shutting Bard down, you are hard pressed to deal with a 17 might Bard and a Thorin doing 3 heroic combats.
17 might.
Oh, yeah, Alfred does Alfred things. But yeah, trying to deal with both of them and 44 other models on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
So there are rumors that this is a Sam Grattan list. Interestingly,
yeah, I've heard mutterings that he's been looking at this for a while.
There's interestingly, when I spoke to Jay Clare, when I played against Jay at War last year, I used my Lake Town Thorin, my army Lake Town Thorin, and he said, but it should be with survivors because Bard's really good and so he was talking about it as if he had an idea, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to watch how well this does because I've been looking for a high points army. So, you know, if this works at high points 2, count me in because I have the models.
It just scales really, really well.
Yeah.
Because you can just add things like Thorin, you've got Gandalf available if you really want the blinding light.
Yes. Yes, you do. Dwarfs.
Lots
of dwarfs. Fror, 10 Guardians of King, 6 Warriors of Erebor, Spear Shield. Young Dwalin, 5 Warriors of Erebor with Spear and Shield. 5 Warriors of Erebor with Shield. Dane on Rocket Sausage. And 3 Iron Heels Goat Riders with War Spear. 26, 32 models total. They're dwarfs. They're hard. This is Mr. King written all over it. And it's just, I'm going to put some dwarfs on the table and you're not going to kill them. Thanks. Bye. Fight 4 dwarfs, lots of them in a 6-inch banner with D7. Strength 4. Sweet. Strength 4 below, +1 to wound on Guardians of Kings.
9 might plus Master of Battle.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Again, in a similar way to obviously Thor's a lot tougher to kill than Bard, but with trying to get VPs off Thor as a leader is really tough. But trying to go for those while also containing Dane on Rocket Sausage.
Yep.
That is just ridiculously tough.
It just gives me Vietnam style flashbacks. This. Bloody Lee. I love you, Lee. Yeah, it's just Dwalin just munches troops. Like, so what you get is Frog kills like 1 thing a turn very reliably. Dwalin kills 1 or 2 things a turn very reliably. And then Dane just goes having fun. And then the dwarfs just die really slowly. That's their aim in life.
Dane really is that, because you don't even really need to do like a strike combat combo with Dane.
No,
because you can just run him into a fight 6 hero and just go, I'm not going to bother striking because if you win the fight, I'm Dane Hindfoot. I don't care.
What are you going to do? Kill me?
Yeah. And if Dane knocks you down on a sausage, what's that? 8 strikes at strength 5 with +1 to wound.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, I've been killed by it before plenty of times. If you'd like to see how something like this would do, there's about 1 million battle reports with a very similar list like this on our channel. Lee used to use it very well, very reliably.
Would you be concerned about the lower model count?
No.
And there you have it.
Not in the slightest. Would I personally, as a human being? Yes, because of who I am as a human being. Would I, as a tactical person? No, because like what your Eastlings going to do about it? You're killing Eastlings on 5s and they're killing you on 6s. Oh well.
Does Dane have March?
Yeah,
that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. And you get Maelstrom buffs. That's nice. The Last Alliance.
Hey.
With the twins. Because of reasons.
I like it.
Well, it's not factually correct though.
I know.
Isildur, it's got the twins in a boat built. what? They weren't there. Isildur on horse with shield and 1 ring. 3 warriors of Numenor with spear and bow. 5 warriors with spear and shield. Eladan and Elra here, both on horse with heavy armor and bow. 4 high up warriors with spear and bow. 1 high up warrior banner, spear and shield. 4 elves with spear and shield, and 2 elves with shield. Followed by Kieran, he's got 2 elves with spear and shield, and 3 elves with spear and shield. Spear and bow, sorry. So he's got 9 bows, 28 models. Now that
is low.
Is low.
That really is quite low.
But you've got 3 fight 6 mounted heroes.
With strike.
With strike. With 3 might each. With Kieran's blinding light. And a load of elves that kind of go, that's cool, mate. We're fight 5, we're going to shield. Deal with them. And they just send the twins out and go, go on, get him, boy. And the elves just kind of shield and hope the best.
I am a fan of the multiple fight 6 combat heroes. And when they are mounted, there's that one ability to charge each of them into 2 troops, triple heroic combat, and just take away a quarter of your opponent's army in a turn. However, I do get the impression this is a list where if you get out of position once and then lose a move roll off, these guys can go down very, very, very quickly.
Even like your mum. Hey. Ironically, I believe this is Gobbler's list.
This is Gobble's list. I actually with
yes, we know your name is Gobble.
Having seen this list on the table, I think the lack of theme of Isildur, a boat builder, and twins is nicely represented by the deliberately incoherent paint scheme.
All of the Golems gamers do it on purpose, I think. Now they just paint so just like the bright pink canned and stuff. It's just it's almost distracting just to look at.
I can't work out whether it's done deliberately or whether this is just 5 different bulk purchases on eBay and then slapped on the table.
Well, they also don't have a like slightly chaotic thing where like all the armies are actually just all of theirs. Like they just kind of borrow and share them around.
They have a big bucket.
They have a big storage box where they all live. Because I remember them turning up to an event once and having to like pass out all the armies out of the big thing and be like, "Oh, who's got Gwai here today?" "Oh, I've got it in my box." It's quite fun to watch. I love these lads.
James plays this list a lot.
Yeah.
He qualified for Masters. He's got there fairly well. He knows how elves work. I think that there is just that concern of these are heroes that can get flash killed under the wrong circumstances, and so positioning these is vital. You don't have any march. All your cav is heroes, so you can't really get them separated too far. So yeah, positioning could be tricky.
It's the Wolves of Isengard, your boys. So, I just bloody love this list.
I'm so happy.
I took this into the West a couple of years ago.
At 450 points.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
700 points. Here we have the Wolves of Isengard.
So you got Sharku with a Shide and Warg. 9 Warg Riders with throwing spear, 1 Warg Rider with banner. A captain on a shield with a Warg. 2 Warg Riders with shield. 4 Warg Riders with throwing spear and shield. And 2 Warg Riders with bow. A captain with shield and Warg. 2 Warg Riders with shield. 4 Warg Riders with shield and throwing spear. 2 Warg Riders with bow. There's 14 wild Wargs in here in total as well. A shaman with Warg. 5 Warg Riders with shield and 1 Warg Rider with banner and shield. So you got 2 banners, 14 wild Wargs, about 20 odd Warg Riders, a shaman, 2 captains, and Sharku.
So essentially, as long as day 1 is seize the prize.
It's not 9, mate, not 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shaman's got 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as day 1 is a maelstrom scenario.
Yeah.
Recon, and then like seize the prize, which I would adore. Yeah, this is to be cracking.
If anyone didn't know what Wolves of Isengard do, because I know there are people out there who just don't know what it is. It's Sharku's Legendary Legion, which is just chaotic. So before the game starts, you roll a d6, you can move that many models. and shoot with them if they've got bows.
Yeah.
Which is why I always have a few with bows in there, just for like, way.
To not hit anything.
I killed Thorin's goat before the game started. With just got like four wild riders moved and then fired their bows and killed a goat. On Maelstrom missions, you can automatically go, no, I'm coming in second, and then they can charge. So that really messes people up. Sharku, bless him, is just the most garbage leader, but he gets 3 heroic combats in this legion. So he is the highest fight in this list at fight 4. He does not have strike. Yeah, it's just silly. What he does get, the shaman gets the Wolves of Isengard keyword to his fury. So I believe he works on the wargs and stuff as well.
So you get fearless wargs.
Yes.
So they also so I guess the other gimmick this list does have is the 38 models. Sorry, 70.
One of the things that you can do, due to how breakpoints and cavalry work, and this is quite gamey, but quite funny, is you can start like on, say, Stormer Camp. You can start in your own camp. You can dismount every model you have. You can then send every warg that survived at your opponent's camp. Right? All of your orcs are still in your camp. So they don't count. And if you do it in your camp, they pass all their courage tests because they're fearless because it's Storm Camp. So you can send like 38 wargs at your opponent's camp, and then you just won't get broken because they can't kill them. They can't kill the whole mod.
Which is the world's funniest way to get a draw.
Here, catch 38 wargs. Deal with that. Maybe I storm your camp, maybe I don't. Who knows? But it's funny. Yeah,
this list alone is making I'm sweating the scenario draw.
So, who do you think brought this?
Oh, can you see the playlist again?
You want to see the player list?
I want to see the list of players again.
Okay, this is your best players in the GBHL. Who out of them is bringing this chaotic list?
So if this is the list of the best players, you know what I really, really, really hope? I don't think it is. I think he's being Phil Beings. I would absolutely adore if like Will Champion brought this.
I think Will Champion's bringing this.
You think it is Will Champion?
Yeah. There are a few people who are, let's go with perennial Masters competitors, who the Masters to them is a semi-casual mess around tournament with their friends. So people like Will Champion and things,
which makes it even worse because this will be piloted like a genius.
Yeah, and Ali King and people like that are very much like, I'm at the Masters. I don't really care.
It is a GBHL 100 this year, though.
It is, yes. But you know, still, which makes it really fun because we held it here last year, and it's quite fun to watch the mood in the room is really funny because there's all these guys who are incredibly good at the game, kind of messing around, and a few people who are really good at the game but not quite that good at the game, who really, really care. They're still losing to people who are just kind of messing around, and it's quite funny to watch.
It's kind of like an emotional free roll because, like, you know, if you bring a super sweaty Dragon Emperor list and you just, oh, how did game 1 go? You can just go, oh, we were playing domination and I lost to Wolves of Isengard.
Yeah. I love it. Angmar, got to be an Angmar. Always got to be an Angmar somewhere. Witch King, 316 free. 3 orcs, 5 orcs with shield, 8 orcs with spear, a spectre, a wild rider. Birder, 6 orcs with shield, 6 orcs with spear, then my spectre, wild rider. Captain, 6 orcs, 6 orcs with spear, barrow white. 49 models.
I love this. I think this is really, really good. The triple caster and 49 models. That is brutal as hell.
This is what happens, people, if you don't take Gulliver.
Yeah.
Just take blokes.
Because the whites are what, 50 points each?
Yeah.
So literally it's Birder and 2 whites rather than Gulliver.
Bird, not slightly more, but yeah.
What I want is a Gulavar and 2 orcs.
Yeah.
So it's the same. Yeah, it's a model count stays the same. You just get 2 casters and a fight 6 troll.
Yeah.
Which again, we said it before. A fight 6 high strength hero is going to be an awesome line breaker. A really, really, really good line breaker. So yeah, by the time you've chucked a Witch King, 2 Barrow Wights, and 2 Spectres at most heroes, it's very, very, very tough to expend the resources to shut down a fight 6 3 Might Troll Chieftain.
Yeah.
That is a much higher model count than I was expecting. This the first list where I've gone. I actually need to run this through Lonely Knight just to make sure that no one's miscounted.
No, it's Angmar. This is what it does.
Yeah.
So people put too many points in things like Gulavar. So this is what I would take at 700 point. Like if you were taking the traditional like one at the moment is you put Gulavar in there instead of Berda, and potentially drop a white as well. And then you still have to take out 5 or 6 orcs and drop down to somewhere close to 40 models, just to put Gulavar in. And while Gulavar is phenomenally good, he does also die. Like, boy, does he die. But if you can paralyze something and get a bird, or paralyze or transfix something and get a birder into him, that thing is dying. So
it's also just really tough to like. So, but Birder is obviously reasonably fragile. He's what 3 wounds, but D6 1 fate.
Yeah.
However, if he has that many potential terror-causing orcs around him, that's really tough to get around and trap.
Yeah.
And you need to expend a load of So trying to expend resources to shut down a Birder when we've got the Witch King running around as well. No, it's gorgeous. It's also a chunk of might. What's that? 8? 8 might Angmar.
Yeah. This list is invisible, but it's Fell Beings. I don't know why it's so dark. Some of them were like, this is like a picture of a printed out list. But someone's
so they scan, they print it, then scan it.
So Razgush, a drummer, 5 orcs with shield, 5 orcs with spear shield, 1 warrior with banner spear shield, a bat and 2 spiders, Spider Queen, 4 orcs with shield, 4 orcs with shield and spear, a bat and spider, Warg captain with shield, 4 orc trackers, 1 fell warg, and an orc shaman with 5 orc trackers and 1 fell warg. So 40 total models, 3 spiders and 2 bats, 9 trackers.
I play the wrong lists to look at this and be properly afraid.
Okay.
Because I've only played this list once, and it was piloted by a very, very, very good player. But I was playing defenders against this list at Lords of Battle. It was just brutal.
Right, you know what you were just saying about fight 6 high strength line breaky heroes.
Spider Queen.
Yeah. Basically, but with super speed. The Spider Queen can straight up just win you scenarios. So destroy supplies, seize the prize, anything like retrievally type, anything like that, she will just win you on her own. She's insane. Recon, she can just win you in like turn 3 or something.
Oh, with the broodlings.
Yeah.
Is she affected by the drama?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe. I'll have to check. She's affected by marches and stuff, so she can go for 13 inches of march. She can go 13 inches of march, pop out the broodings within 3 inches of her, and then send them another 10 inches. So she has a 26-inch tag range on a march.
That's nuts. Added to fight 6 hero who can throw things.
Yeah. She also has defense, which everyone forgets.
Oh.
I forget. But yeah, when you use her and she gets quite out of position, you can just throw up her own defense. It's quite nice.
I think you'd enjoy piloting this more than the Assault on Loth.
So do I. This one I was going to use more, and then I got distracted by Assault on Loth. But again, another one I have all the models for, but also like Goblin Town and Spider Queen together is just so much fun. So,
Razgush is also, you look at him and you see the fight 5 1 fate. He's a 3 attack defense 7 model.
Yeah. He just sits right in the middle and punches stuff in the face.
Like really hard. Really, really, really hard.
Yeah. He's another one of these, like we said about Arvidui at the start. Just a really solid frontline hero.
But that ability to be defense 7
rather
than defense 6 is you can run into virtually any frontline troops.
Your nice strength 4 dwarfs that we saw earlier, things like that. You just go like cool.
Just don't care.
Yeah. And his kind of anti-elf tricks in the current kind of scene where people are taking elves to try and deal with emperors and stuff, and try and sneak up to that 5/5 is quite good. Because there's 2 elf lists, isn't it? Lothlorien, Last Alliance. So he's got out of the 16, he's got 2. Obviously, it's 15 opponents he can possibly have. So yeah,
It helps.
Yeah. Bunch of orc trackers as well for some bows. Decent bow fire.
And 3 spiders and 2 bats.
Yes. And obviously bats and spiders together are great friends.
That's actually a lot of movement. The orc captain's really quick.
Yeah.
With like 2 fell wargs as well.
Yeah. A captain, a couple of wargs, a couple of spiders, and a spider's been running around. Just a little death ball. How
do you beat this and destroy the supplies?
Yeah. Well, the spider queen on her own will win you destroy supplies, but yeah. That's so good, man. I miss her.
So I
miss my girl.
I originally thought that this was world champion.
Okay. Potentially, but we think he's taking the Walls of Isengard to have a mess around. He has used it quite a lot, fell beings. What did we have? Tom Wag.
Okay.
In which case it would do pretty well.
Yeah.
Black Riders. Hi Ed.
Yeah.
There's a really funny. So there's no bears. So we were like, oh Ed, why didn't you bring the bears? And he's like, oh, someone told me they were going to bring Smaug, so I didn't bring the bears. Yeah, valid. I think Will told him he was going to bring Smaug. Again, just to mess around. This is what I mean by people just like, yeah.
Can we just FAQ Smaug to 701 points?
No, just run events at 701, at 699.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Witch King 3, 11, 2, 4 race, which are 281, 3 race at 271, 700 points. It's 8 models. Got to kill 5 of them. They're wraiths on horses. All the old terror. I don't really know what else to say.
Do we see much Black Riders around, or do we just kind of accept that this is just Ed's list? Everybody else just leaves it alone.
People got very sick of it very quickly. I think a lot of people just hate playing against it. It is one of those ones where if you're not equipped to deal with it, you lose now. Like there's nothing you can do. It's probably the most. So I played against it a couple of times, and I still haven't actually lost against it. However, I've also never enjoyed a game against it.
Earlier on, when we were saying, "Oh, how do you deal with 3 chunky dwarf heroes? How do you deal with Bard and Thorin running around?" This,
magic.
This very quickly.
How to do the Angmar stuff? Oh, cool. That's a nice barrow white you've got there. Shame if it had no will. Shame if I sapped its will 8 times. Yeah.
And all what we're looking at, 17 might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18? 17.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that. Oh.
Yeah. Ed's very good with this list. We all know what he can do with this.
If you are playing against Ed with Black Riders, though, just make sure you say things that are just like mathematical anomalies, just to really upset him. Because he does sit there and calculate the percentages of exactly how many dice he needs. He's very good at working out the dice statistics of what he needs to throw. So, for instance, if he needs to throw like 2 dice black darts to drop you to get you to blow break, and he'll work out how much wood he was. But if you just start saying like,
just start reciting pi, but get every 4th digit wrong.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, but statistically I should have killed 5, and it would be like, no, you shouldn't. And it's quite good to. That's if you want to. Yeah, that will throw him off. It's quite fun. Just so you know, if you want to play him at that game, right? So that's our list, my friends. So if we go back up to the top, I will push you, but
okay.
Who's winning?
Oh, It's very tough not to say Ed with Black Riders. if on the tiny chance I was a gambling man, then I would put money on Ed. I think a lot of the traditional threat lists, things like Assault on Loth and the Dragon Emperor, I think people are fairly well equipped to deal with them. But I don't know how well equipped these lists are to deal with Black Riders. Maybe like Lothlorien for the inherent resistance to magic, and the fact that you would probably need to spend 2 or 3 turns trying to Black Dark Galadriel.
Yeah,
trying to get like all the will to resist. You aren't wounding a third of the time, and you essentially need to get 6 wounds through a turn.
Yeah,
to try and flash Galila. It's so resource intensive, and even at the -3 courage, there's still courage 2, which isn't the worst thing in the world. The tiny more fight. So I think I would. It's just such an anomalous matchup. So I think that's my probably realistic. I would adore Arnor Wolves of Isengard to make a run at it. The list I'm personally backing that I would love to see do well, even though he will be morbidly insufferable afterwards. Ash, Wilgus, Mordor, and Harad. I just think it's a really solid, well-built list. It's tough. It's got all the resources, all the tools, good model count, and I'd love to see it just do well. Please, yeah, don't tell him I said it.
Are you aware that we're recording?
Yeah, but I don't think he's got the attention span to get this far. So if you know Ash Wilger and you see this, never tell him I said this. But I actually. I think those lads put a ton of work into their list building. They play a ton of games. They're great at event, and to see one of their they're just bundles of joy, and the good that it would do them to do really well at Masters.
You're so cute.
Yeah,
I hope they lose every single game.
No, they're good lads. I've played them enough, but they're good lads, and it would usher in like a new era of youth into the GBHL, and that would absolutely be a good thing.
Someone other than Ed, Will, Jay, and Ali, winning would be just delightful for all the
a genuine Golems gamers. Jay Acharya,
you're too good for this.
It doesn't count. Just quit.
You're too good for this.
They would be appalling, but to see like a Goebel, Grattan, Wulga podium at Masters, I'd love it. It would make me so happy.
I would quit the game.
I'd love to see it. Like, they do put an enormous amount of work in.
Go play 40k. So yeah.
Your picks.
I really like Jay's Lothlorien. It's just simple and effective. Galadriel, Celeborn, bunch of elves. Enjoy. I think it will do fairly well. Simple, not too overcomplicated, nothing too flashy, just clean and effective.
And sneaky D6. It's so easy to forget that whole list, because it used to be D5 with shields, didn't it? When it first came out, I think it was just armor and shield, and then it became D6, and the models didn't change.
Yeah.
So I keep looking at it, and go, oh, that's a fight 5 D6 line. That is very tough to get through.
Yeah, I think it will do admirably. But yeah, we shall see. Because at Warhammer World it is not being streamed, just so everyone knows. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah,
because I'm about to trim my laptop. Thank you for sticking with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all the things, and
come back and see our beautiful smooth faces.